Another case scenario that we had, they set up a display in our hallway or in the entrance where everybody come through, and it was a display of all name brand products and name brand foods, and it entailed that if you paid your union dues, you couldn't afford this food. But majority of us don't. Some of us are able to afford, you know, this type of name brand foods, and some don't. And a lot of it was just like canned goods or whatever, no meats or whatever. So it kind of like the psychological in a lot of people because you're constantly telling us no, no, no. So what are you telling us? And then they tell us they're concerned about how we spend our money. So I guess that was a way of showing us how to spend our money. But when the question came about in one of the many meetings of how to spend our money, or why are you concerned about spending our money, they wanted to go to the next question, or that's the end of our meeting. So we wanted to be able to show them that we have a voice, not being intimidated because you got on a white coat and we are just civilians in a cage. So, and I kind of feel like I feel a little intimidated sometimes when I walk in here and you see all the white coats standing there looking at you on a target, So this is what I want, people to understand, that we do have a right, knowing our rights, knowing the laws, and knowing what we can do as a people as a whole. And because they segregate us so much, that doesn't mean we can't integrate ourselves to do what we need to do.
Average, what is the average wage is like $9, so it'd be 1.3%.
So it's roughly $10 to $20, somewhere in between there.
$10 to $20 a month.
But if the idea behind having a contract is that you vote on it. It's democracy. There is no reason that you would vote for a contract that pays you less than what you're receiving.
Right.
Exactly. So you probably end up making more than that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
It would be not in your interest to vote for something if you're receiving less money for it.
That's true.
The chances of a strike happening are very, very slim. It's in the interest of the company to settle with a contract, and it's in the interest of the workers to settle with a contract. Capital Returns is receiving tons and tons and tons of products that need to be inventoried and need to be disposed of. Without having workers to do that, it is not in the interest of the company to go into a strike. Absolutely not. Many of the unions also, the idea that the workers will receive nothing if there comes to a strike is false as well. All unions have striker defense funds that help out families who are suffering through strikes, and the fears around that are absolutely unfounded. Just want to ask a question about what do you guys hope to gain by organizing a union at Capital Returns?
Most people are not able to speak up for themselves. The main thing is to have a voice for those that are afraid to open their mouth and say, hey, we have a problem here and I need help. Also, to a better way of being treated at a facility where you could feel comfortable. And also, too, I want to be comfortable coming into a place where I know I'm getting paid and I don't have to take 4 or 5 jobs to make ends meet. That's my biggest thing. Also, too, I hope to gain, kind of like they say they pro team. Let's be a pro team. Let's work together. But we don't get that often. It hasn't been until the campaign actually got started when we actually are, oh, we're not anti-union, we're pro team. Sort of say. So if we're pro team, let's act like a team. And it's always you and us when it comes to the union, sort of say, but we don't need the union because we're going to tell you why. But we don't always get the why. We just get the reason why they don't want their contracts touched.
So one thing that should be noted here is many of these women who work at Capital Returns are coming from the Welfare to Work program, and a lot of them are living paycheck to paycheck. one paycheck could mean eviction from their house. One paycheck could mean, being homeless. And because of that, the company has a lot of power over these workers, and they have the power to scare these workers and to beat them into submission. They are easily exploitable, and the company knows that, and they use that. But giving a voice to a union and having a union will give these workers a chance to stand up for themselves.
They are receiving millions of dollars from the government in contracts, so the work is there. There would be no reason for them to strike. It would be just, we would negotiate. And that's what we want to do, is to negotiate. They have that right to negotiate. Because this is an at-will state. And today you can come in and you can rule is this, tomorrow the rule is something else. And we need to be able to negotiate our workplace. Like they have. They all have contracts. Why can't we have contracts?
Okay? Would you like to say something about it?
Basically, sometimes it's not about pay, and it's just the respect that you should have in it. If everybody is treated the same across the board, and I think that once a union is and with capital returns, I think that this treatment would be fair. It would be a fair treatment across the board for everyone. And this would benefit, I think it would benefit the company as well as the employees, because we would all be doing our jobs the same way. And when you're not properly trained in this business, you become a hazardous to the next person, because you don't know what you're doing, and so you don't know particularly how to handle products, and proper training will be something that you would know how to go and read MSDS sheets to find out if you're allergic to products, or if this product is really hazardous. Nobody can talk you out if you get hurt with this product, or this product is spilled on you. Nobody can talk you out of not going to seek medical help if you know the danger of the product. And these are, although they are pharmaceuticals, these are still chemicals, and they can kill.
The problem that some of the workers who have children talk about is when their children have been sent to the hospital for emergency things at school, and the hospital has informed the parents, or the school has informed the parents, that their children are in the hospital, and the company withholds that information until their shift is over. And there's been numerous occasions where kids have been in the emergency room, and while the parents had no idea, they've been forced to keep on working and wouldn't be told that the children were in the hospital until their shift was over.
And respect they receive.
Yeah.
So if they're in the office and all these kinds of things, they're receiving their information. So they're receiving, if something happens to their children, they automatically asthmatic. And in this past year, I have had numerous of timeouts with my illness, and it's ongoing, and that's why I've been out on medical leave recently and throughout the year because of that. And there's several cases of people having bronchitis items or bronchitis acute items or whatever, and it's a lot of people. We've had so many different people pass out. We also have a person there with lupus that have a lot of problems, and they had her standing, and she had her stuff been in her folder ever since she been there, and they know her situation, and they still was, if you can't do the work, you have to go, or your doctor have to, give you some type of restrictions. So they finally gave her a chair, but I'm not sure if she's still in the chair or not. But since they put up all the, tall barricades or whatever, you can't hardly see over there anymore.
An increase in miscarriages.
But we have numerous of those.
Numerous miscarriages.
Miscarriages, premature pregnancies. We've had a lot of that recently. Yes.